Hola and buenos dias, uh, ladies and gentlemen and NBs. It's the Dead Air Horror Review. We're coming at you live and live, recorded live.
Yeah.
We're not, we're not actually
Whether you
live.
like it or not, we're coming at you and we're coming
Yeah.
all over you.
It's funny. I was about
Yeah.
to say a live podcast. Who does that? And then I immediately thought, oh, that's just streaming. They do that all the time. I was
You
like,
know,
what a $1 million idea.
one of the beauties of getting verified on YouTube,
Oh yeah,
we just
we have a
started the
YouTube.
channel.
Yeah, we have a
You
YouTube, everybody. And Chris can clip chip this and put the little YouTube thing right there,
where should I put it?
and
Right
it'd be
here.
perfect. Yeah, right there. Boop. And you can do the hit the bell and subscribe and all that. Hey,
Smash
and you
that
know what?
subscribe button.
It's we should really talk about this after recording, but if since we got the YouTube thing, I think we can actually record through YouTube for like as long as we want. I think
Oh,
we just got to figure out how to like call into it. But
it
anyway,
said we can go up to 12 hours.
yeah, but
I think we
I
should
think we
test it.
can like go live like that. Like we could just record it that way. Anyway, we'll figure it out.
That's what the people want.
Yeah, we you want
They
a
want
little
as much of
inside
us as
baseball.
possible.
So this week we are talking about a movie that made my top 10 list in 2021.
Top 10.
Yeah, I love this movie. I thought this movie was a banger.
And
Um
I'm just gonna let the viewer slash
mhm.
listener know. TJ and I rarely, if ever, talk about these films
Yeah, that's true.
before we
I
do the
think
podcast.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So this isn't like this is real uh like excitement slash confusion slash whatever emotion we're feeling. Like I really
Yeah,
genuinely am surprised that TJ has this in his top 10.
I don't what did I it last year. This is 2022, last year. This is top 10
Yeah.
last year for me. It's if you want to rank it good year last year, first of all. But this was right behind another Shudder original, a movie called What Josiah Saw, which I think me and about besides Josiah, I think about four other people saw this movie. But it's incredible. I highly recommend it. But yeah, I really liked Watcher, and the thing that's really impressive in my opinion, because my memory is dog shit. Watcher came out the beginning of 2022. It came out in like January, and I remembered it all the way till the end of the year because that's always the kicker when it's like, I watch so many movies between, this show and the other podcast I do, and just in general, I'm always watching movies. By the time it gets to the end of the year and I'm trying to remember all the shit that I watched, and I do have a letterbox that I try to keep up that way, but I'm not like militant with my letterbox. I only write like keep track of the things I have like a snarky review to give. Like if I really like something or don't have anything to say, I don't keep track of it.
And letterbox for the
For the layman.
the for the layman for me is
Oh, you
what,
know what?
TJ? Go
Yeah.
ahead, explain it.
Oh, yeah, you need to get a letterbox, dude. Letterbox is another it's a very non-intrusive social media platform, but it's specifically for movies. So basically it's real easy. You download the app or you go through the website, and let's say it's a way for you to do a lot of different movie related things. Like you can make lists. Like I made a list of my I'm looking at it now, my top 10 movies. You can post reviews. It's kind of like what IMDb used to be for movies. Now the only thing is that they don't have like message boards and discussions that way, but you set up an account, you can follow people can like your posts, your like reviews. I had my most popular review was for Promising Young Woman, which I hated. I think it sits at like, and I know these are like rookie numbers, but like understand that I get maybe like, I don't know, half a dozen likes. And again, these are like, I don't have like a huge friends list on this thing. It's literally public. So whatever. So I think my Promising Young Woman review is like 560 likes, which is a lot for me. I was like, hey,
Wow,
look at me.
that's impressive.
Still proud of that review. It was very good. And they're
And
always,
you
I
figured out
hated
the
that movie.
algorithm with which
Yeah.
is just hate reviewing.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's and it's very
you
brief.
can't like anything anymore. You have to
Well,
hate it. That's what
well,
people
it's
want to hear.
it's funny too because you go in there and some people think they're like the second coming of like Roger Ebert, and they'll write these huge because I don't think there's a character limit in their review system. So there's like these huge reviews, and I write, like, I try to keep it as brief as possible. Like if my reviews are longer than like 2 sentences, like something's wrong. So I think it's funny to have that kind of dichotomy. And also, don't get me wrong, I like a long form film review, but like for something like a stupid app, I think it's kind of ridiculous to like put like 1,600 words, type it in your phone. I don't know, it's kind of ridiculous to me. But anyway, yeah, Letterbox is great. I don't know how you feel, Chris, because like you just said, we haven't talked about this movie at all. But I really, this movie came out of nowhere. I remember seeing trailers for it like in the theater for other movies, and I was like, it looks pretty interesting. And it kind of, I didn't get to see it in the theater, or did I see it in the theater? I don't remember. But I remember like the trailer looked really interesting. I really like I always get people's names wrong. Mika Monroe, who's the lead in this movie. She's also the lead in It Follows, which is another fucking movie that I love to death. And I think she's really great. She's one of these actresses that I think like she's kind of like a Florence Pugh. Like I think she should be like a lot more famous than she is. I think she's really good in everything I've seen her in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, this movie scratched like an itch for me because this is, we reviewed some kind of slasher movies. Like I'd say that like High Tension is kind of on like the gore spectrum, but this is the first like suspense movie. Like this is less like a horror movie, more like a suspense film, but I mean that still kind of falls under the horror genre. But I think that the mood in this movie is great. I think the tension's really well done. I love the atmosphere. Like I like the foreignness of this movie, if that makes any sense. And also first time director, which I mean this just keeps happening in movies. Like this is this person's first feature film, which I think is crazy for how
Chloe
confident.
Acuna.
Yeah, it's crazy how confident this movie is.
Yeah.
And I'm always blown away by like these first time filmmakers, and it's just like they just kill it. Like I'm used to like older, in previous generations, like I feel like the first movie always had like lots of good ideas, was a little rough around the edges. It took a little while for them to kind of get their footing, and it seems like, I don't know, I can think of like a handful of examples like right off the top of my head where it's just like they just nail it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very impressive. But and how did you feel about Watcher? Also, this movie suffer I'm sorry, Chris. This
No,
movie
no. Right.
this movie suffers from the fact that Netflix released I believe it's a movie, it might be a series called The Watcher at close to the same time. And I kept recommending this movie, and people come back and be like, "It's fucking terrible." Like what's her name? Naomi Watts is awful. I'm like, Naomi Watts isn't in the movie. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And they're like, it's about the killer next door. I'm like, no, it's like in like Russia. Or like they're like, oh, I didn't watch that movie. I think so many people watched the wrong movie. And they're like, oh, TJ sucks.
I think you had mentioned that you wanted to review this movie, or maybe I
Mhm.
don't remember. It was in a text, but you were like, "Are you sure? Like you're not
Yeah, I wanted to make
referencing
sure.
The
Yeah,
Watcher?" I just want to make sure you're not
it
talking about
happened.
Netflix The
It it
Watcher.
it happened so many times when I recommended the movie. I just had to make sure.
Yeah. Are we going to go into reviewing TV series as well? Because I mean
I'm
that
fine with
one
that.
I feel like deserves a review for good or bad. That I hate
I
watched the shit out of that
Yeah,
show.
I don't know. I got no problem. It's tougher to like for to that might be like more of a project where we talk about we're going to review it, and then we got to give ourselves a little bit more than a week to watch the whole
Might be
thing.
like an 8-part series.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't mind. Yeah, but I don't hate that idea at all.
So Watcher, I think you had mentioned it before. And
Yes, I'm
for
sure I
people
talked about it.
listening, I regularly uh ask TJ for his recommendations on what to watch when it comes to horror films. This
It
guy,
is
this
true.
guy's
I
this guy's
get lots
knowledge on horror
I get
is
lots of texts.
unrivaled. He gets lots
I,
of texts.
but to be fair, one I'm flattered, and two, I enjoy it because I think I said this in a previous episode. I am the opposite of a gatekeeper. I am like a gate opener, because a lot of these movies, I'd
No,
say
you
watch
give
them.
yourself some more credit. Yeah. Oh, you're saying that you're. Oh, I see.
I
I
want more
got you. I
people.
got you.
I don't want to close the gate. I want more
Yes,
people in. You know
I
what I
got you.
mean? Like, I think a lot of these movies, and like Shudder is killing it. What Josiah saw, this really, I'm looking at my list here.
Yeah.
Almost all of my movies on my, well, not all, but like a good chunk of my top movies last year are movies that aren't like stuff that people are just gonna wander into.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, I want people to see these movies. Like, I love it. I want other people to like it too. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, I guess that sounds weird and possibly hypocritical for me to say this, but like, also, like, if you don't like it, it's fine. I want people to enjoy the things I like, but if you don't feel, I don't feel like adversarial either. You know what I
You're
mean? Like, I
not. You
have
don't feel protective of these movies like
no,
you would a local band who made
no,
it
no.
big and sold out.
Well, even then, I don't really care. But yeah, but no, I don't. I'm not protective, and I also don't feel like. I mean, there's plenty of movies like Men. Alex Garland's Men was my top movie last year.
Yeah.
That movie is very divisive, and I understand objectively that movie is not for everybody. And if you were like, oh, it's the worst movie you've ever seen, it's like, okay, but I mean, that's fine. I liked it a lot. I mean, but I don't care. Like,
People say
I'm not these
bullshit. Yeah.
people. I'm not these people that like have like these long like arguments. It's like, why are you arguing over somebody's taste? You know what I mean? Like, it's like
Yeah.
you and I last week, like we had our or 2 weeks ago, we had our disagreements on Halloween Ends,
Mhm.
but it's just like, yeah, okay. Like, you know what I mean? Not everything's got to be for everybody.
Yeah.
So. Sorry.
Um,
Anyway,
no,
continuing.
no, no. I was saying I wore a special outfit for the show because, as you can tell, but no, what hides underneath this?
Ah.
It's
Oh no. Oh no.
it's a V.
Oh. Oh shit.
It's a V for how
V.
much I love the Europeanness.
Yes, right.
If
That's
that
what I was
makes
saying.
sense.
Right.
You
The
know,
foreignness.
the
Absolutely.
foreignness, that really does add, and I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings or offend anyone. They did the same shit in Hostel, where they go deep into this movie. Didn't do that. They didn't go deep into the underground, but still the setting was somewhere in Eastern Europe.
Well, and I'm got I'll save you a little bit of face. I get what you mean. I think like
I'm gonna zip this back up.
this does a great job at making you feel alien, right? Because you
Yeah.
like in a lot of ways the main character is an audience surrogate, right? And the way that they use language in this movie, because it bothers me in so many movies when like this is a weird example, but like in the movie Prey that came out last year that I also really like, the Predator movie.
Yeah.
I really wish that they spoke the Native American language. It
Yeah.
really threw me off that they didn't. Like, I like
Yeah.
that movie a lot, but I think it'd have been so much better if they spoke in their native language. And I hate in American movies all the time, like whenever they go like anywhere, everyone's just speaking English. I hate it. It throws me off. And
Yeah.
it's because they always feel like, oh, Americans, they're not going to read subtitles. It's stupid. I hate it. But I love this movie where, the main character does not speak I believe it's Russian or Bulgarian. I can't remember.
Uh,
But
yeah.
she can't speak the language. And they do such a good job of making you feel that isolation that she feels.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best things about the tension of this movie is I think anyone can relate to that, right? Because we kind of take for granted our ability to communicate with people. And she feels alone and isolated, and not only in her setting where she's thousands of miles from home, thousands of miles from people that understand her. She's also isolated in her relationship with her
Yep.
husband, which also is a great subplot, which I think really works.
Yeah.
And I think that to get mixed together with the stalker slash murderers plot, it all comes together so well, and it is just heavy, you know what I mean? And the sense of dread that you feel, and you can relate to that, but again, because she's got nobody to turn to. Her husband is terrible, or boyfriend, I think it is. I don't think it's husband.
Yeah.
But he is cut her off. The world around her is basically cut her off. So she's got nothing. She's floating out in the middle of nowhere. And I think that's really effective. Like I think that's the strongest thing about this movie, and the decision to make it. And they don't even, another thing that I love, and this is something that David Lynch has done a couple of times in some of his movies, when the characters speak the foreign language, they don't subtitle it. And that makes sense because she doesn't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
So why should we as the audience?
Yep.
And I think that again, it was just a very, like, it's the little touches in movies sometimes. Like that is a very small touch that not every director will find. And it adds so much. You know what I mean? It adds so much to the soup. You know, you put too much salt in the soup, it fucks it up. But you put just enough in, bon appetit. You know what I mean? Like, and I really appreciate about this movie. I think that's something I really respect about this movie, is that I think all the little things they do really, really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry,
Agreed.
I'm filibustering like crazy this episode. Sorry.
Agreed. I mean, it seems so. The couple is Julia and Francis, and they move over to Bucharest, Romania.
Yeah.
Romania. And you could tell that she's already having she's excited, but it's a difficult transition. She's by herself. She really doesn't know anyone except for Francis. And then she learns there's like this serial killer on the loose.
Which she feels like also might be a manifestation of her just like making it up.
Right.
And then which also is compounded by the fact that no one believes her. So it kind of lends itself to kind of like a gaslighting subplot that are like her doesn't, and I think that's also great. Like, I don't know.
It's a perfect example of gaslighting. Like, everyone's trying to make her feel crazy for what she's seeing and experiencing firsthand. Even her own boyfriend, fiance, husband, whatever their relationship, they're a couple. Let's just say they're a couple.
Let's just say a couple.
He doesn't even really truly believe her, which is
I don't think he does throughout the entire movie.
I know,
like it,
I don't know.
And it seems like in the beginning, even when he's sort of empathetic towards her, he seems like he's just like placating to what she wants. You know what I mean? That doesn't feel like he ever really buys in. And there's even like kind of notions of like I feel like there's a drop line somewhere where he feels like she's potentially like resentful of him and doesn't want him to succeed. And that again, those things again, they're very small character moments, but that's very real. You know what I mean? Like there is a lot of reality in those arguments. And
what got me about this film was that I thought at the beginning it was going to be very predictable. Like, she sees this guy in the window, like you can see right here, like she's pointing to him. There's Francis, Julia, and right above TJ, there he is. There's Spider. You feel like you kind of know where this story is going, like you've seen it before. Like, look, she sees the guy in the window. Obviously, he's the killer. He's gonna get her. But it kind of moves you along, and she's kind of losing it. And then like halfway through the movie, I'm like, hold on, is she the watcher? Is she the one? And I'm starting to get pissed off at Julia, because I'm like, she's making this poor guy's life hell. She sicked the cops on him. She's got her boyfriend going over to his apartment. She's following him around the city.
I also, let me just pause real quick. I think that, I know we're a pro spoiler podcast. I think this time we probably shouldn't spoil it because the movie's so new.
Right.
I think it would be best to not spoil the whole movie.
Okay.
Personally,
I'm 3 beers deep, so I'll try my best. But
you're fine. You can bleep it out later. But yeah, no, I agree. I think that is another kind of interweaving of this screenplay where I think a lot of movies try to do this, but they fail at it, or they pay lip service to like, well, maybe the character is making it up. And I feel like this movie does it in a really subtle way, but like you definitely question what's going to happen, and if what she's seeing is actually going on, if there's something more to it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it's interesting once you watch the movie, because I feel like the plot is kind of a straight line, but it certainly doesn't feel that way when you're watching it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like by the time it's over, you're like, oh, okay. But like, and saying that, that's not an insult to the movie. It's actually a compliment because you don't know where the movie's going to go about until about the halfway point of the movie. You're like, oh shit, like what's going to go on? And then by the
Right.
time it's over, you're like, oh wow, like it even kind of when they reveal who the killer is, like it's still a gut punch. Like the whole end of the movie is like, holy shit, like
Yeah.
it's pretty wild.
Well, they had me as soon as I started changing my feelings about Julia,
Mhm.
the protagonist, when I was like, she's starting to piss me off. Like, what the hell is she doing?
Well, I mean, you do hate women, so there's that too. No, I'm just kidding.
That is not true.
It's not true at all. Well, but the
I'm
thing is,
a
though, if we want this show to make money, we got to go red pilled. We're gonna start.
yeah, we got to
If
go
we
extreme.
gotta. I mean, what color's your Bugatti? You know what I mean? That's all. Your
I mean,
Bugatti.
doesn't Andrew Tate also live in Romania?
He
Like, should we
does.
tie him? It should actually. We have a surprise guest.
He really does. Well, he's in jail, I think, still.
Yeah, fuck
So
that guy.
yeah, he sucks. And I think he's dying now, so it's all
Is
good.
he really?
He has
From
like lung
loneliness?
cancer.
From
I
sadness?
think from low. I wish it was from, and that would be appropriate. No, I think he has like lung cancer or something
Are
because he
you
smoked all
shitting me?
those. No, I mean I
Oh,
read it. I don't know if it's true. But he
yeah.
did smoke all those cigars all day. So
Yeah.
fuck that guy. He sucks.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, we
worst.
could
We just lost.
we're
Yeah,
Andrew Tate, like
we just
anti
lost.
Andrew Tate on this
We
podcast.
just lost all our incel followers.
I can hear them logging
Like,
off
oh
now.
yeah, the incels like saw us. They're like, oh, these guys don't fuck. We're definitely good
They're
company now.
diving for the unsubscribe button right now. Throwing off their headsets, their gaming headsets. Like, fuck this. Like, these guys are a bunch of twinks. They don't
Damn.
deserve our subscribe.
Like yeah, like 5 seconds ago when I was like Chris hates women, they're like, hell yeah, finally. I knew these guys. I knew these guys were cool. Oh Lord.
uh,
Oh, that's
all
funny.
right.
Anyway.
All right. We got 9 minutes and 55 seconds. I
Yes.
I I really, this was the first movie I feel like I've seen this year. Granted, it came out last year,
Sure,
but I
still.
just watched it this year.
New to
That
you.
I really really enjoyed.
I'm
I
glad to hear
thought it
that. I'm
had,
really glad to hear that.
yeah. I thought the acting was impeccable. The directing, like, I can't really say a bad thing about this film.
That's how I felt. I mean, I feel like it's just a stellar production.
Yeah,
And what's his name? The guy, the creepy guy.
yeah.
That dude is great. I forget his name because I forget everybody's
I
fucking
can
name.
look it
His
up.
name is Bern Gorman.
Ooh,
How did I ever
good
forget
one.
that name? And I know
Burn.
him.
Yeah.
Burn
Oh yeah,
B
like
yeah.
actual Burn. Burn
Yeah,
Gorman.
so that guy is awesome, and I know him because I'm a fucking Doctor Who nerd, and he was in the Doctor Who spin-off show Torchwood, which I
Oh shit!
love.
And he was in
He
Dark
was
Knight Rises
Yes, he was a
and
side
Game of
character,
Thrones. Holy shit!
and he was in the Flower for Algernon episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when they
What?
gave.
Really?
Remember the episode where they gave Charlie the brain medicine? He's the
Yeah.
doctor that gives Charlie the brain medicine.
Oh my gosh.
But
Okay.
that guy's great. He's fantastic. He's good in this movie too. Like he's creepy, but he's also sympathetic and weird. And oh my
He was
god,
born in L.A. He plays a
I
Romanian pretty well.
I
I
thought
mean,
he was
I don't know any Romanians, but
I thought he was British. I had no idea he was born
yeah,
over here.
he's got dual citizenship. I just looked it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's
Now
like
you
the
know
other day.
everything minus his social security number.
That's like the other day when I said that Anya Taylor-Joy was like British or something, but she was
Yeah.
born in like Kansas. I was like,
Was
oh,
she really?
something like that. Yeah.
Really?
Or Florida. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she was European.
Hmm.
But anyway, yeah, I'm really like, again, this is a movie that I know not a ton of people have seen, but man, I hope more people get to see it. Like I really like it's available on Shudder. I think it's beautiful. I think it not only I don't think we've really mentioned that aspect of it. It looks great. Like it's shot really well. I think that the color palette of this movie is really good. It's very again, it adds to the
Yeah.
oppressive feel of this film, but it's very intentional, and it's not that awful, like let's just throw on a blue filter after
Yeah.
we process the film that they do nowadays so much. This is actually like shot really well. Again, I have nothing but like the highest praise for
Yeah. If
Chloe.
you're a fan of anything cinematography, if you're a fan
Yeah.
of photography, lenses, colors, like
Yeah.
this movie will get you there. Like you'll appreciate this movie for everything it offers.
Yeah,
Um,
and I
and I
cannot
just can't
wait
believe
for
this is a first time director.
yeah,
Like,
Chloe Akuno, like
yeah,
whatever else she makes, I am in.
I'm
Like
there.
as
Yeah.
soon as like you tell me what her next movie is going to be, because I mean this, I think she knocked it out of the park. Like
There's few you would mention like, what other directors could do something like this on their first try. I can't really think of many
uh,
other directors. Like Ari
I
Aster comes to mind.
Ari
Uh,
Aster, Robert Eggers,
Darren
they
Aronofsky.
uh, I don't know. Darren Aronofsky is a hot button issue with me. I don't know how much Pi how it aged. I feel like if I watched Pi now, I would probably hate it. I loved it when I was 19.
Yeah.
Um, there's a name I'd like to bring up for talking about first time directors. And it's also horror related, so it
Mhm.
works. Her name is Prano Bailey Bond, and she directed a movie called Censor in 2021, which I fucking adored. And again, that
Sensor. I'll have to look.
there's another movie that like no one saw. It's on Hulu. I highly recommend it. Maybe we'll review it one of these days, but
Yeah.
it's great. And another first time director, and it's just like, god damn, like I don't know. But yeah, those names again, like Ari Aster
Where
and
can we
Robert
see
Eggers.
Sensor?
Censor's on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
It's
Get that.
really good. It's
Yeah.
excellent, and it's all about not only is it great, but it's a kind of meta commentary movie about the video nasties from the 80s and the British censorship board, but it's also kind of this psychological kind of surrealist horror movie, like almost Lynchian at times. Like I don't know, it has I don't want to oversell it, but the ending of the movie is just so fucking good. I fucking adored it. I thought it was great.
So let me
Um,
ask you, because we're running out of
yeah,
time.
we only got about 4 minutes.
What do you find that really differentiates this movie from other like we talked about slow burn the
Mm-hmm.
other week.
Sure.
Would you call this a slow burn?
Oh
And
yeah.
there's been other movies in the past. Like this has a similar formula of somebody seeing something
Sure.
that they don't really know what they're seeing, being gaslit by people around them. Like the formula has been done before. Why does it
It's
make?
yeah.
Why does this one work?
That's a great question. First of all, I think it's a combination of everything that we mentioned already. I think that one, I think it's shot incredibly well, which always makes it easier to watch. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you have an image on the screen, I mean, it sounds ridiculous to say, but if you have a compelling image on the screen, it makes whatever happens on that screen much easier to take and more entertaining to watch. It's something where Red Letter Media says this all the time. You may not have noticed this, but your brain did, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a subtle thing.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I feel like the performances are fantastic. Mika Monroe, I think, she steals the show, and I think her performance, like I think if you put another actress in this movie, I don't think the movie's as good, because I think the movie kind of hinges on her performance, and I think she is, transcendent. I think she's fantastic.
And
Um,
we wouldn't be horror podcasts
yeah.
if we didn't talk about the blood and gore. Granted,
Oh,
it's not
it's very brief, but it's very good.
okay. That's why I was curious
Yeah.
if you thought like it was
Oh,
up to
I thought it
par.
was great. No, I
Yeah.
thought it was
Okay.
great. And the thing about gore is it doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be constant, right? Like
Right.
sometimes it's just a little bit and it's good. And when it shows up, it's very, very jarring. And I loved it. I thought it was great. But I think the script's really tight. I think it's even though it is a slow burn, I think it's paced really well.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
I don't
You don't
think that
get
it ever
bored at any
yeah,
point.
it never drags. Like the
Yeah.
movie does not drag. And I think there's a difference between being being a slow burn and being a slow movie. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like the movie's not slow.
Yeah.
And also the most important thing is that the payoff is worth it. A slow burn is nothing if the payoff sucks. The payoff is great in this movie. And it also, I would say that it facilitates repeat watches. I think this movie is a movie
Yeah.
that you get more out of if you watch it a second time because there's
I
enough
agree.
subtlety. There's enough subtlety. There's enough kind of nuance in the script and in the way the movie is. I think that watching it again, it would benefit any viewer. So that's what I think. And again, we're
So
spiraling towards a minute left. So
so the last thing, let's wrap it up real quick, but I'm curious, there's no more important rating system than TJ's rating system. So TJ, on a scale of 1 to 10, where does this fall? 1 being shit, 10 being amazing, must watch. Where would this fall?
Oh, this is a 10. This is a 10
Oh,
for me.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, this
Great.
is a 10. This is a 10 all day
All right,
long.
people go watch it.
I don't have I mean, I don't have anything. I think you said it too. I don't have anything bad. Like I have no notes. I don't have anything bad to say about this movie. I think they did everything. Everything was fine. Everything was better than fine. Everything was perfect. And I don't have any complaints. So yeah, it's a 10. I mean, this is a 10. Absolutely.
You're a 10.
Oh, thank you, sir. Oh.
All right, man.
Now the incels are really mad. They like each other too. What the hell? All right.
Yeah,
well,
we do. We love each other.
We didn't
Love.
figure out what we're gonna do next week, but we'll let you all know. You'll
Yeah,
find
well,
out.
we're not gonna let that. We're not gonna spoil that either.
Right.
We successfully didn't.
We did not spoil this movie, so go watch it. Yeah, we're almost done. It's gonna cut off probably any second.
Yeah.
Go watch this movie.
Go watch
it's great. Go on Shudder. Shudder's great. If you don't have Shudder, it's like $3 a month on Amazon Prime. Highly recommended. Go watch it right now.
All right, TJ. Thank you so much.
Call your mom. You probably haven't called your mom lately.
Call your mother.
Call your mother. All right.
Yeah.